Hello, and welcome to the Allen Press webinar, How to Develop Mission-Based Membership Benefits for Your Association. I'm Taylor Fulton, Senior Marketing Manager at Allen Press, and I will be your host today. On your screen, you should see some general information about participating in this webinar. I'm going to go over a few of these features before our presenter gets started today. First of all, we will be answering all questions at the end of the webinar. If you have questions, just click on the questions box on the main menu sidebar and type in your question. If you are having technical difficulties, please use the questions function to contact us and we will try to assist you. If you are having trouble hearing, please call into the webinar conference line. The toll-free telephone number and participation passcode for the conference line are listed in the audio section of the main menu. Just click on the phone call radio button and the call credentials should appear on your screen. Today, Allen Press's Terry Leatherman will share best practices for developing a mission-based membership benefits program. Terry has been in the association management business for over 30 years, serving in a variety of roles and responsibilities. Terry joined the Allen Press team earlier this year as an association manager tasked with building strategic relationships with our customers, analyzing current membership trends, and working with our marketing team to create results-driven solutions. Prior to his time at Allen Press, Terry served as President and CEO of the Housing and Credit Counseling, and before that held positions as Executive Vice President of Communities and Schools of Kansas, as well as Vice President of Public Affairs for the Kansas Chamber of Commerce. Terry is a Lawrence, Kansas native and a graduate of the University of Kansas. Outside of the office, Terry enjoys spending time with family, running, and cheering on the Jayhawks. I'm going to turn the webinar over to Terry now as he presents how to build mission-based membership benefits for your association.
Thank you very much, Taylor, and good afternoon to everyone, except for the folks out there where it's good morning to everyone. And to everybody, good day. I very much appreciate you taking a few minutes and joining us today to talk about your organization's mission and how they can be very impactful to the growth of your organization. During the course of our webinar today, we are going to talk an awful lot about your mission as an organization, how you're capturing that mission in a mission statement, and then also how that mission statement can spawn programs that are going to be benefits that are going to be greatly valued by your members. Those areas that we'll talk about are communications. We're also going to talk about career advancement as a member benefit. We're going to talk about education opportunities you offer to your members. And finally, we're going to talk about service programs that you do and how they will be perceived by your members as a member benefit. I'm going to talk about associations today, but when I do, realize that associations are called many things out there in the association world. It may be a society, it may be a chamber, it may be a coalition, a league, a guild, a club, but basically they all will fall under what I will call associations today. And what is an association? It's something that can produce real dynamic change. It's an exciting organic creation, but at its heart what it is two or more people who share a common interest, a belief, a passion. They realize that they're not the only ones, so they invite others who have that interest to join them in association. They realize they can learn from each other, so they develop education programming so they get better at what they share as an interest. They realize that there are roadblocks out there, and because there are roadblocks, they realize that if they work together, they can eradicate those roadblocks and have an advocacy program. They pool dollars to produce good for their association. And they also finally realize that they could work independently, but when they work together in association, they can get so much more done. There are an awful lot of associations out there in our country and in our world. In fact, the American Society of Association Executives say there are 92,000 trade and professional associations in the United States alone. And when you pull together all the employees they have, they total 1.6 million people. On the screen, you see a few examples of associations that are out there. I think Taylor mentioned that there's going to be an evaluation of this seminar. If you all aren't kindly to me out there, I might need to check into the National Association of Self-Esteem along the way. All these associations and many, many more, what they share in common is that they all have a mission that they try to move forward with in their associations. I want to talk a few minutes about characteristics of that mission for your association. Your association mission should be short. It should be something that you capture in a sentence or two. You're trying to capture a vision. You're not trying to write a paper or a thesis. It should be memorable. It needs to be something that all your members remember, understand, and resonates with them. It should be something that creates understanding. It should be understandable. That's obvious. But really, when you see the mission statement on the words on paper, it should produce a mental image which tells people all about your organization. And finally, it really should be exciting. It should be something that draws people to your association. If you accomplish your mission, it should be something that makes the world a better place. A few more characteristics of missions that I think you ought to keep in mind as you develop yours. A mission statement should be a statement that all in your association not only support, but they're actively striving to advance. A good mission statement is never going to be totally accomplished. You want to make progress toward eventually accomplishing that mission. An example of that might be the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis, which was founded in the late 30s and had a mission of eradicating polio. They funded a lot of research. They were very instrumental in the development of a cure for polio, and in fact, they in essence accomplished their mission statement. They had to retool and basically develop another mission statement of preventing birth defects, and they are today the March of Dimes. But anyway, I think it presents the point of a mission statement is something that you're striving to achieve. It should be something lofty and something extremely challenging. A mission statement should be broad, but not totally unattainable. And a final thing is, it's important that that mission statement draws new members to your association. It should be something that someone looks at, sees, they'll say to themselves, I support that, I want to be involved with this particular association. I want to present a few examples what I think are pretty dynamic and powerful mission statements, and hopefully some of the elements of these are contained in yours. This first one is from an organization called Communities and Schools. It's an organization I had the opportunity to work with a while back. And their mission statement, I think, has some interesting words, some powerful words that really captures what they're all about. Which, by the way, if you're not acquainted with Communities and Schools, they are an organization that has recognized the national problem we have in the United States of people dropping out of high school. And they believe that the cause of people dropping out of high school is really more social than it is academic. And so they developed this mission statement to advance their work. They surround students with a community of support. The use of the word surround, I think, is interesting. They could have used support in there or some different words, but what they want to do with the word surround is really give that visual image of people coming together, a variety of services that are supporting students. The next part of the mission statement, empowering them to stay in school. It could have been softer. They could have said, support them in staying in school. It could have been more powerful and say, make them stay in school. But what the organization wanted to do is to leave it in the student has to make the ultimate decision to stay in school, but they want to do all they can to help them. So they're empowering students to stay in school. Also, their mission statement captures more than just graduating from high school, but also achieving in life. They wish to pursue a mission that they not only get students to the goal line of graduation, but they also get them prepared to do something after graduation. And as a result, a whole lot goes together, but it is a mission statement that really paints a pretty clear picture of what that organization is all about. It's an exciting mission. It's one that, if they accomplished it, the world would be a better place. I want to show you a few more examples of mission statements, and as I do, maybe keep in mind how these mission statements literally give birth to programming that produces the results that are called for in the mission statement. This first one's from the American Red Cross. They are obviously a well-known organization with a mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. I think you can see in those words that there's some important programs that come out of it. Mobilizing the power of volunteers. You've got to go out and recruit volunteers. You've got to educate volunteers. You've got to mobilize them when an emergency occurs. The generosity of donors. It's an organization that's going to depend on fundraising, and so developing programs and processes that will bring dollars in the door in order to have the dollars needed to alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. A very powerful mission statement. The next one from AARP, a famous organization, the American Association of Retired Persons. They have a mission to enhance quality of life for all as we age, to have positive social change and deliver values to members through information, advocacy, and service. Those final three phrases, information, advocacy, and service, give birth to a whole lot of programming. You can see education programming needed in order to make enhancing the quality of life for all as we age happen. You also, if you have a mission statement that speaks to advocating, the need to have a powerful political action operation is needed, and certainly AARP has that. I want to show you one more mission statement. I like this one maybe because of its simplicity as much as anything. You know, I said off the bat that it should be short. This is the example of the shortest that I could find. The TED Talks people have a simple mission of spreading ideas. But what a great mission statement. It really is what their organization is all about. So if you get it right, a mission statement, if you get one that is short, that is memorable, is exciting, and hopefully it is alive in that it's not just words that are stuck on the website. It is something that drives your organization, because when it does, it will be at the heart of all the things you do for your association. In terms of your membership, maybe you are that organization out there right now that looks, as far as membership is concerned, you're going out and you're trying to find someone, you're trying to convince them that you're a good organization and that they should join. When you get the mission statement right, membership is totally different. Instead, what you're looking to do is show people, here is what we're all about, here is our mission, and if it resonates with you, here is how we advance that mission. And if you can do that, show people what you're about and that you can move forward in accomplishing that mission, they're going to want to join you. It can be very powerful in driving your membership operation. In terms of governance, all your decisions in your organization, if your mission is powerful, should be driven by that mission. Really, when decisions come before the council or the executive body, they should be thinking, if I do this, how is it going to advance the mission of the organization? We're going to talk a lot about this third area, the benefits of membership. An awful lot of time an association sits down and thinks, let's develop benefit programs that will cause people to join our organization. Instead, if your mission is powerful, you're looking to develop programs that are going to advance the mission. And because people have joined you because they believe in your mission, they're going to be excited by those programs. They're going to actually be benefits. And then finally, finances. Really, the dollars you are able to cull together as an association, you're going to use to the benefit of the organization's mission. How can the dollars we have advance that mission of the organization? I want to shift now to really the remainder of our time together. I'm going to spend talking about your mission statement and how it can be a springboard into the benefits you're providing to members of your organization. And the first area I'm going to talk about is your communications with members, which I would contend to you is the #1 benefit you're going to offer to your members. I want you to realize that kind of first thing I talked about, the basics of association, why associations happen. At the heart of every one of them is the fact that 2 or more people have realized that they share an interest, a belief, a passion, and they wish to associate together. They wish to talk to each other about how they can advance the shared interest that they have. Not only do they wish to talk to, not only do they wish to hear about their association's shared mission, they wish to communicate about it. They wish to have 2-way communication about their organization. A lot of us have 1-way communication in our association. A lot of us do a lot of talking to the members. But a very key part of communications as a member benefit is that ability for us to not just talk, but to listen to our members, to invite them to all the communication should be about that association mission, advancing that mission, but you also want to connect with the member so that they can tell you about what they're doing out there in the world to advance the mission, and that you have that collective work together that's going to move the organization forward. This next slide that you're looking at right now is from an organization called Trip Builder Media. And I think they put together on their website some interesting ideas, which is all on this idea of 2-way communication. And it's just, I think, something for you to begin to think about how you can listen to members as well as talk to members, how you can present an opportunity for members to communicate to the association. One of the ideas that Trip Builder advances is the idea of allowing members to learn about other members and find things of interest in other members and to communicate one-on-one with each other, what Trip Builder calls member matchmaking. In essence, and we'll talk about this a little later in our seminar today, the idea of when your members join your organization, having them complete a member profile that will begin to kind of flesh out who they are and what they're interested in, and an ability to take a look at other members in the association and find things of interest that they'd like to pursue and begin to have conversations amongst the membership about hopefully about the mission and how they can advance the association. A second idea, excuse me, if you're an organization out there and you're creating that opportunity for members to find out a little bit more about other members, maybe you can be an organization that also facilitates that communication. For instance, if I'm seeking you, you could just publish email addresses. Well, we're going to talk about a little later in this webinar how unsolicited emails are often ignored. So maybe you want to be an association that facilitates communication between members, setting up what they call a blind email process, where I'm interested in visiting with you, I send an email that is going through the association to you, then you receive it at the other end and make the decision of whether you want to carry on that conversation. By facilitating that communication process, it's a key member benefit that you're providing. Some other ideas that Trip Builder suggests that you take a look at is the idea of, do you provide discussion boards? Do you provide hangout opportunities? Do you do polling? Do you do surveying? There's a whole lot of tools out there where you can begin that conversation between members, where you can increase the communications that your association have, and you can truly make it 2-way. And it really becomes effective when that 2-way communication all relates back to that very powerful mission that you have developed. In fact, on that whole idea of mission and your mission statement and your communication processes, you probably should spend a few minutes, and I'm going to cover a few of your communication opportunities that you likely have at your association. You need to ask yourself the question of, how is your mission coming through in these various areas? For instance, on your website, where is your mission statement on your website? Is it hard for folks to find, or is it right up front and center? Do you just have the mission statement, or do you have more? Do you ever report on your website on what you've done in the last quarter or the last year to move forward that mission? Do you ever put out there on the website your plans for the next 3 months, 6 months, year, decade on how you look to advance that mission? In your email communications, are all your email communications centric on the mission of the organization? Maybe take a look at those last 5 blast emails you sent out to the membership. Take a look at how they advanced the mission of the organization. Have you begun to get away from that mission? Is that mission no longer alive, or is it alive in the communications that you're sending out to your members? At your annual meeting, if you had an annual meeting this summer, was the mission statement ever mentioned from the podium at the annual meeting? Was it ever published anywhere for people to see? And better yet, was there ever any discussion during the course of the annual meeting about that mission and making it alive and progressing on accomplishing it? At your board meetings, do you have a mission minute? It's something you might think about. The idea of, in the midst of all the reports that you present at your board meetings or executive committee meetings, that you slow down and you take a couple of minutes of the meeting to, here is our mission, what have we done to advance it lately, and what can we do in the near future? I want to talk a little bit about, if we're talking communications, I think one of the first things we got to talk about is email communications. Because out there, everyone who's using email as their main way to communicate with members, please raise your hand. I think I'm seeing all the hands going up. And don't you feel silly for having your hand up right now. Anyway, email communications has become our go-to way of communicating with our members. The price is right. You don't have to put stamps on it. But there are some things about email communications that you need to realize, and you probably realize them already, and that is that emails are used by everybody. 269 billion emails will be sent today. During the course of this conversation between you and I in this seminar, we're going to see over 1 billion emails sent. There are 4.3 billion people who use email as a communications device. Today, you are going to get in your inbox around 121 emails if you're the average office worker in America. Also, I think it's important to note that last statistic on here. In North America, the open rate for email is just a little over 1/3, 34%. I present all this because email is a wonderful way to communicate, but you got to make sure that your email from your association is the one that your member is opening. They're choosing not to open 2 out of 3 emails in their inbox. Make sure you're not one of those that are being rejected. And I would contend to you the best way for you to do it is to establish with your members that you have a personal relationship. They are bought into your mission, and the communication you're sending to them is related to advancing that mission. I want to talk a little bit about a key element of your communications process that you need to think about a lot, and that is your communications to the newest members of your organization. When someone signs up and they pay you their membership dues, how quickly do you welcome them as a member of your organization? And when you welcome them, how do you do it? Does the email begin, welcome new member, or do you bother to mention them by name? As much as welcoming them to the membership, what do you do in the first 30 days or first quarter to make sure that they become engaged and involved in membership? How are you communicating with them and engaging them in the two-way process of membership? Here is how the American Society of Association Executives do it. I think they have it's a great example, and you might very much take a look at them and borrow from them. They, in essence, have a 3-step process that they push all their new members toward. They want them to get started, get connected, and get involved. when they go to the Get Started selection, what they'll be greeted by is a member profile. And I think this becomes a very important and powerful communications tool that you want to make sure you capture in your association. That member profile allows you to gather information about them that, and you're gathering it about all your members, so that they'll be able to find members that they wish to communicate with, and you'll be able to present to members important information to them. So the first thing you do at ASAE is you get started by filling out your member profile. But they also then immediately try to get you involved in discussion boards so that you're engaging in the conversation. And they also want to hook you up with an event, a program, a seminar, something to get on your calendar to begin to become involved with ASAE services. In the Get Connected area, when you move on to that, they wish to connect their members through social media, engage in two-way communication that way, and they use all the different forums that you have out there for social media. They also encourage people to things that are not so technology-driven. They push people toward research that they've had over the years and publications that they have developed. And then in the area of Get Involved, they really push their people toward their advocacy role and getting them involved in the advocacy process of their association. They also push people toward their career center and want to see them engaged and involved in that direction. Besides new member communications, just want to visit a moment too about communications with the members you already have in place, the renewal of members. I want you to avoid that scary scenario where you send out the membership renewal notice and they pay up their membership for another year, and you realize that the next time you talk to them is when you send out a membership renewal notice for the next year. If you're only talking to them to get money from them, you're probably going to have someone who won't be a member for too many years. The whole idea of your communications process is creating that connection which will make them an involved member. We're kind of moving to renewal season. Pretty soon you're going to be sending out those renewal notices for 2018, and when you do, think about the members who you know are going to renew their membership. They're going to be your association's president, your executive committee. Those folks are renewing their membership at 100% clip because they're involved, they're engaged, they appreciate the value of the association. How can you extend that to all the members of the organization? How can you get them involved so that they realize the value of your association? Want to talk a little bit about tools and tools in your toolbox. A little like the tools in your regular toolbox, your power drill has a certain job, and it's different than the job of the screwdriver, which is different than the job of the hammer. Your communications toolbox for your association needs to have a lot of tools in it, and all those tools will have a different purpose. There's your website. You all have one. It's in essence that billboard to your society or association. Your website is the place that people can, both your members and your non-members, can come and learn about your organization. It's a library, if you will, with all sorts of information about your organization. It's static, but if it is the place where your members come and visit you occasionally, make sure it's there's something new to invite them in the door. Try to bring that new content to your website. But really, your website's job is to be that constant out there, that billboard for the member and the non-member. Then you have social media, another critical, important tool in your toolbox. Social media is that two-way communication. It's the traditional social media, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, but also the whole idea of having that two-way communication with your members, having that social media abilities to have a conversation. A third area is your newsletter. If you don't have a newsletter, think about it, and think about it in this context. A newsletter is your chance to consistently and constantly talk to your member. You're basically setting up a discipline in your association where you are going to talk to your member, hopefully on a monthly basis, where you set up that newsletter so that it's largely promotional. It's mainly telling them about opportunities that they should take advantage of as a member of your organization. It's one that you set up with templates and you involve many in your organization so that you're not the poor person who has to write the entire newsletter an hour and a half before you're due to send it out. But a newsletter can be something very, very powerful for your association, an important tool of providing consistent communication to the member. And then finally, there's the emails and letters, an important tool in your toolbox because this is your action items. When you send out that blast email, you're telling the member it's time to renew your membership. Please sign up for the annual meeting. Please write your congressman about this important issue. You're trying to prompt action with this tool in the toolbox. If you have all these tools and you're using them wisely, you have a comprehensive communication system for your association. So let's talk about, just in summary, of communications and connections. Do you have a full toolbox? Do you have all those elements that I just talked about? Focus on those communication strategies to engage those new members. You want to capture them in the first 30 the first 30 days of their membership. And what sort of two-way communication process do you have set up where you're listening, you're interacting, and you're responding with your membership? I want to move now to another very important element of mission-focused membership benefits, and that is an idea of career advancement as a membership benefit. I would contend to you it's another very important membership opportunity for you to put your arms around, because advancing someone's ability to find the next job and to be a greater professional in your area is certainly something that's going to advance the mission of your organization. It is also the main reason why people join associations today. If you can make that connection that joining your association is going to keep them informed, make them a better professional, and going to help them on their career path, they're going to be a member of your organization. Here's a few ideas that might get you down the road of having a very robust career advancement benefit for your members. First of all, the idea of professional connections. We're going to talk about this a few times along the way. Do you have some sort of mentor-mentee program that you're offering right now? That opportunity for members to talk to other members and have it be purposeful toward them becoming a better professional in your field. Most of you probably have a job board, but take a long, hard look at that job board and see if it is literally the go-to place in your organization, in your field, where people turn to for employment opportunities or for professional growth opportunities. An important note on those job boards. Take a long, hard look at them and make sure that everything that you're showing out there is current. There's nothing more frustrating for a member than to turn to your job board, get excited by a job that you have posted there, and have them realize that it was actually filled in June of 2016. Make sure your stuff on your website or however you're communicating job opportunities is current. What are you doing as an association to encourage networking? Anyone who's sought a job knows that telling other people about your skills and what you're desiring in a job, if you tell enough people and they're on the lookout for you, you increase the odds of you being able to find that next opportunity. Are you doing anything as an association to encourage that sort of networking? And then finally, and we'll talk about this a little bit more a bit later, the whole idea of professional skills. Do you do anything as an association to improve the professional skills of the membership? The idea of a credentialing program, an endorsement program, where you present educational content and you certify someone as attaining a skill level, is something that can be a powerful tool for your association, and it can be something that your members will greatly value. A few, just to talk a little bit about some of these career advancement opportunities, and mentioned this one a moment ago, the whole idea of mentorship programs. Your young member is very much looking to probably gain knowledge and opportunities, and also your senior members have an awful lot to offer, and so being that conduit that can put them together is a powerful member benefit. The idea of speed networking, it's kind of built on the concept of speed dating, is probably best done in person, but to set up a process where people can quickly move amongst each other and learn from each other, and then if something sparks, further that relationship that's been born out of a program that you've offered. The idea of credentialing, endorsement programs. This can be very important because if you get your arms around this, you're presenting the education programming and you're also presenting the certification process. Online classes and courses to develop a strong catalog of educational opportunities, especially in the idea of career advancement. Everything right now is kind of driven toward technology, but we shouldn't forget about the fact that people still like to gather together and learn from each other. So the idea of regional meetings or gatherings where you can have the whole topic of career advancement and networking as a key element of those meetings. I want to present to you what I think is an interesting opportunity that you might want to explore a little bit. LinkedIn has developed a new service that they're offering to folks who utilize LinkedIn of connecting mentors and mentees. The bottom line on this is that on your dashboard at LinkedIn, you can go to the Career Advice Hub and you can sign up to be a mentor or mentee. You fill out a profile and LinkedIn will help connect you to that opportunity. One thing we hear about a little bit is kind of a gap, a challenge that associations have in their membership, where they're very good at perhaps gathering students as members, and they're probably very good at attracting seasoned professionals to be longtime members, but they struggle a little bit in that spot in between of the young professional, someone who's new in their career. If you get your arms around career advancement as a membership benefit, it will do an awful lot in helping you retain this particular part of your membership as a part of your membership. And so a few things to wrap up the career advancement area. You want to connect members through a mentorship program. If you don't have one, think long and hard about how you can set that up so that you can connect your members together. The idea of establishing a credentialing program, that is going to be something that your members covet, something they want to put on their resume, something that's going to make them a more talented professional. And also take a long, hard look at that job board and make sure it's the place where people turn for opportunity. Next, I want to talk about educational opportunities. An awful lot of folks say, educational opportunities, I've got them. I offer an annual meeting to the members, and if you do, great, but realize if you have great attendance at your annual meeting, let's say you get 20% of your members there, there's still 80% of your membership that's not taking advantage of this opportunities. You want to maybe do something besides that 1 week a year where you're presenting educational opportunities to members. You might start building that diversified list of educational opportunities, and a place to start is webinars. Use technology to your advantage. There are some free or very affordable webinar services out there, and you can develop educational programming, and you can use your members in the delivery of that education. Podcasts, similar to webinars, and developing educational platforms that can be out there and used. YouTube. It might be interesting to survey your membership to see what they have right now as far as YouTube content, and begin to gather that, promote your members, but also develop education content that you're offering to the membership. There's electronic and printed publications that you ought to think about that you likely do already, but make sure that you are capturing that someplace where members can see what you have and take advantage of it. Field trips, a little like regional meetings, sometimes it's good to get together, and sometimes it's good to get together outside of a building and learn something together. And also the idea of a journal content repository. A lot of you have journals. Make sure that you create an opportunity for members to utilize that resource. This next slide is an example of, I think, it's a good example of education programming from two perspectives. It's from the American Counseling Association, and I like it because, one, they give lots of different opportunities for education to their members. They utilize technology, but they don't exclusively utilize technology. But I think, secondly, the reason why I like what the American Counseling Association does is that every education program they offer comes right back to the membership mission. And their mission is to develop professional counselors, to advance the counseling profession, so that they develop educational content which advances that mission. A few final points on education. You want to find an education program for your association to offer that endorsement or certification process for professional development. And I say that because, once again, I think there's a twofold powerful impact of this, and that is you're developing educational content your members will covet, and you're also developing a certification process that is yours and yours alone. You also, good that you have an annual meeting, but don't make that your only education opportunity for members. Take an audit of your current education programs. You're probably already offering some things, but make sure it's being offered in a way your members can find it. And also take a look at what else might be out there that's readily accessible that you can offer to your members. Take a look at what others are doing. There's some great ideas out there as far as educational content is concerned. And if you're not already embracing technology, please do so. I want to move to a final area that I think can be very powerful for you, that you can wrap your mission around, and it's going to advance your association. It's the whole idea of service. Realize right off the bat, when we talked about what a great mission statement includes, we talked about the fact that a great mission statement should be impactful. It should make the world a better place. And so what sort of service components can you put out there that your members can get involved with that's going to advance the mission and make the world a better place? First of all, direct service. Perhaps your association takes a look at its mission and realizes there's something in the real world we can do which is going to advance the mission, and it's going to be something that we, because we all believe in this mission, can be excited about. If not, maybe there's something that someone else is doing that you can endorse and encourage people to go support them. The idea of directly getting involved to advance the mission. Advocacy is certainly a way to advance the mission of the organization. If you do have an advocacy program, I'm going to quickly touch on 3 things you need to make sure you have in that advocacy program. First of all, make sure you have a process where the issues you're deciding to advocate on are vetted by several people, and they are something that's going to be supported by the vast majority of the membership. Secondly, make sure you're an effective advocacy agency by helping your members with the messaging that you're looking to advocate and helping connect them with the right people to advocate to. And then thirdly, make sure that you learn how effective your advocacy was. Find out how you did on the particular issue you advocated on, and make sure you share that information to your members. Then it becomes a very powerful member tool. And then finally, financial, the idea of using your pooled dollars to advance the mission. If you don't do so already, the idea of creating a pot of money that your members can contribute to that's going to be dedicated to advancing that mission of the organization. Many of you do that already. Perhaps you have award programs, scholarship programs, but there's lots you can do where you're using your resources in order to advance the mission. This is an example of advocacy that I want to visit with just a second. I think it's a great example of advocacy because they do the entire connection. These folks should get it right. The Human Rights Watch, really their mission is all about exposing facts, investigating, exposing facts, and putting pressure on individuals to do the right thing. On the left side of the screen, under Take Action, you see one of the particular ones that I picked out as an example where they identified forced labor that was linked to the World Bank. They investigated it. They presented the investigation in their website. Then they have that Take Action button. If you hit that, you go to the box that's on the right side of the screen, which is literally, okay, I've educated you about the issue. This is how you can take action. And in this case, they want to set you up to send a Twitter tweet to the president of the World Bank. A very powerful advocacy program that they have there. When it comes to how to develop a member benefit all built around service, establish a mission-related direct program that your association can either be the spearhead behind or promote. Raise money for a mission-related cause, and make sure that you tout that to the members and the effectiveness of it. And then finally, advocacy. To develop that advocacy program of what issues you're pushing, help your members promote it effectively, and then report on how effective you were. When you work hard on a mission and you develop a very powerful mission that's captured in a memorable mission statement, all sorts of positive things happen. It spawns an entire program of work that's going to grow your association. In fact, when you build your program around a powerful mission, you'll see that you first of all will attract members. When you attract those members, you're going to figure out a way to communicate two ways. You're going to talk to them, you're also going to listen to them. You're going to develop educational programming. It's going to advance their careers, and educational programming that they're going to find beneficial. You're going to also present service opportunities where they can advance that mission through their direct action, by speaking out, and by using their financial resources. When you do that, you will achieve your ultimate goal of advancing the association mission, and when you do that, you will attract more members to your organization. I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to present some ideas on the subject of building a powerful mission and having that mission drive your organization. And I now want to invite Taylor back over here and respond to any questions that you might have typed in along the way.
Thank you, Terry. It looks like we have a few questions. The first, I am an officer for a small nonprofit association. We have a mission statement, but it probably is in need of a tune-up. Where should we start?
It's a great, if you do, it's probably a great time to slow down and gather the executive committee and do the hard work of a retreat. The idea of sitting down, taking a look at that mission statement, is it still relevant today? Is this still the direction of the organization? And retool from it. But it certainly is something that's not going to be produced in a vacuum. You really need to invite your leadership and do the hard work of taking a long, hard look at it and capturing that mission statement that will be dynamically lead your organization. And when you do, make sure you promote it. Make sure you share that new mission so that you get the members as excited as the executive committee will be when they build it.
Excellent. Second question, what membership benefits are becoming out of date and which ones are on the rise in terms of popularity?
Probably the on the rise ones are the technology related ones, utilizing the during the time that I've been visiting with you, someone probably invented the next technology that's going to change our world. One is that I probably emphasize is using video a lot, using educational content that links in video. which makes me realize I haven't used video during this webinar, but still it's a very powerful thing that it seems like folks are using more and more. I'd say one of the things that's waning is take a look at your governance. Take a look at how big your board is, how effective your board is. If you're getting the bang out of the buck for board service. I read something this morning. Jeff Bezos of Amazon has a 2-pizza rule on meetings, in that if everyone in the room can't get filled up on 2 pizzas, you have too many people in the room for the meeting. The whole idea of taking a look at trying to get away from the all-day committee meetings where we read minutes.
And last question, how do I determine which member benefits are right for my association?
Survey your members. It's that great way of two-way communication. It's important to figure out ways to talk to your members, see why they're joining, why they value it. I mentioned in the program the Abila study that pointed out that how if I can advance my career, I will join your organization. That study, they first of all surveyed association leaders, and most of them felt like their lead member benefit was the meeting, the annual meeting they held. But come to find out, when they talk to new members, the reason they join is career advancement. It's very important to talk to your members. Figure out a way to have a conversation with them, survey them, pick up the phone and call a few of them, and find out what they think are the most important benefits.
I would also add talking to your association manager, and whether that's with Allen Press or another company. These professionals spend 5 days a week researching associations, understanding trends, talking to members, and they probably have some pretty good insights on what works, what's not working, and maybe some member benefits that the competition isn't taking advantage of. So with that, it looks like we have all the questions for today. I would like to thank Terry again and everyone who attended the webinar today. We hope that you enjoyed the presentation and that you learned a thing or two about developing mission-based membership benefits. At the conclusion of this webinar, we will be sending out a brief survey that will ask you to rate the presentation, the quality of our content, and overall value to your organization. Your input is extremely helpful, so please take a few minutes to complete the survey. With the survey email, there will also be a link to the webinar recording. We encourage all attendees to download a copy for your records and potentially share with your friends and colleagues. If you don't want to download the whole presentation, you can view the webinar on our website and YouTube channel in the coming weeks. That concludes our session for today. Thank you again for attending.